sagas. I weave the infinite possibilities into existence. Script the unscripted. I guess you could call me FanFic. We are Zone.
Yo, welcome back to another Zone podcast. I'm your host, Zone FanFic, joined here by our other host, Sai Sensei. Welcome back. And
hello.
Breezy, what's going on, brother? What's up? What's going on, guys?
Yo, doing good.
Yo,
Great, man. Excited to be back.
we got some.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. What happened? The fans, the travelers out there, they want to know what happened to you. What was up?
So, as I was telling the fellas, last weekend when I got back, it was the end of the month, and I have two other high school buddies, and we have our birthdays, and it's like 8 days apart. So we kind of have a thing where at the end of the month, we wait until all of our birthdays are done, and then we kind of like get together and have a celebration. So we went to Top Golf, we just chilled, and we were hanging out, doing the usual thing. But, as you get older, you start to, focus more on life. Life, time tends to get to you. So it's really, really nice to catch up with old friends,
Yeah.
Like every year, we used to hang out like every other weekend to every month. To now it's like once a year, But I mean, shoot, we still get together, and every time we get together, it's always a great time. Yeah. Absolutely. Reminder: always hang out with your old friends. Never ever be afraid to reach out to your old buddies. I'm almost certain they're always down to hang. They're always down to hang.
Yeah, no, when I get the opportunity, if I ever, run into a friend or, have the time, yeah, I try to do what I can. But, as of lately, it just hasn't been something that I really had the time for, to be honest. I've got school, of course, and work, and of course, podcasts and stuff. So, other than that, that's dope. Happy it was birthday celebration, right?
Oh yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, we might have to do a if you're of age, we might have to do like some type of shots or something live, maybe Twitch or something on a watch.
That would be lit.
How do you guys feel about that? You travelers out there, drop a yes in the comment section for the drinking competition or drink shots competition on a watch party live Twitch. If you guys want to see that happen, we could possibly make that happen. I don't know if Breezy wants to join in, but yeah,
I'm definitely gonna lose. I know that for sure. But I'm down. I'm definitely down.
I might just be down for it.
I don't even know what yeah, I don't even know, what we would start the drinking competition off of, but yeah.
Some manga, anime trivia. We're just sci-fi, just anything in that relative genre topics.
Oh yeah,
that'll be lit. That'll be so dope. I think that's a nice way to compete with it.
Have you ever heard of Kahoot?
That's a good idea. So with this week's Sing Zone podcast, we actually had a few things we wanted to talk about, but as far as what we're starting with, it slipped in my mind. Do I have to open up Discord again?
No,
yeah,
we can. I got you. That's why I'm here. So, of course, as always, we're going to start off with our anime and manga segment. So, first off on the list, we have Bug Ego, which is a new manga that's going to be begin with serialization, I believe, sometime this year. I think the second chapter actually came out a few weeks ago. But the artist is one who's a manga artist who created One Punch Man and Mob Psycho. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are familiar with those two titles. Mob Psycho recently ended last year with its final season, and One Punch Man season 3, I believe, is in the works. We don't know which studio it's in the hands of, but we definitely know it's being worked on. So look forward to that. So going back to Bug Ego, I'm not too sure about the synopsis. From what I've read, it was something about I don't even know the character's name, but I know a character meets a strange character who has these things called bugs. I'm not too sure if it's like literal bugs, but these entities can they do like strange phenomena depending on if you follow certain scripts or whatever, something like that. But that to me, that's intriguing enough. Like it just sounds interesting with that. But I didn't read too much into it, but that's what I most of what I know so far. Do you guys have any thoughts or any knowledge of that, or have any of you? Oh, it's also the first chapter is a one shot, and that was released sometime last year. So, are you guys familiar with the one shot or have read it?
You know, I as much as I love one's art, I have not actually gotten a chance to check out the one shot, you know, or chapter 2. But yeah, no, there's actually it's undeniable that there's a lot of hype generated around this this manga from a one enthusiast, you know, fantastic illustrator, very talented. So I give it to the guy, man. I'm ready for it. You know, I tend to give things, you know, a few chapters before, you know, to just get cooking. You know, that pertains to any manga, any form of fiction in general. You know, the first few chapters are going to be set up. They're going to be like kind of they're really going to just be trying to paint a picture as to like what to expect from future chapters. So no, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, me myself, I didn't even know that it had a one shot that released like a whole year beforehand, after this new chapter just came out. But I've been seeing art of the chapter that people have been posting up, and the art looks sick. So me myself, like I'm definitely interested in at least checking it out. It looks pretty good.
Bro, like it's undeniable. The man is talented. He's a gift.
For sure.
Probably one of my favorite, you know, authors, illustrators out there. So, you know, hats off to him, man. Hats off to him.
100%, man. 100%. Next up on the list, we have Ninja Kami, which trailer I believe released, I think 6 days ago, almost a week ago. It's gonna premiere February 10th on midnight on Tsunami Adult Swim. From the trailer
everywhere else.
From the trailer that I saw, it definitely looks. To me, it reminds me of like some type of cyberpunkish vibe. It's like uncensored, unhinged action, and it's like a futuristic samurai ninja. Like it seems like they're ninjas, but with like a Gundam-like suit. So it looked pretty sick. Of course, I couldn't make out the plot because it's it's a trailer and they're not supposed to tell you too much. But I'm not sure if this is adaptation of a manga or if this is just a standalone series. Are you guys familiar with that at all? Like, is it an adaptation?
From my understanding, I think it's a standalone thing, but the trailer doesn't give a whole lot of details, like you said. But I've heard like a little, or I've read myself like synopsis of the story, and it's about like an ex-assassin that's, you know, he's just trying to do his thing with his family, and he's kind of get out of that. But of course, with all those types of stories, like you never get out type of thing. So now they're coming after him. And like you said, it's set in that kind of futuristic setting. But me myself, like I love like those type of like ex-assassins on the run stories. It kind of reminds me the plot a little bit of like John Wick, but just with like ninjas and set in the future. So it's something I would at least be considering checking out. I know it's going to be really action heavy for sure. They always tend to be pretty action heavy.
And what I love is it definitely seems like it's going to be uncensored, and I love that. You know, 'cause, a lot of anime nowadays they're trying to stray away from that, especially shonen. You know, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So definitely, that's going to be a topic that we're going to bring up in the future as well.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of like Kurizuka, just based off of the trailer that I saw, and that immediately got me hyped. I looked at it, I was like, okay, it looks like it's some quality animation here. It's not CGI, which is something that is almost an immediate turn off for me. Although I will give something a chance when it pertains to like CGI. So that's, it's neither here nor there. But as far as Ninja Kamui, yeah, it's, we're gonna be watching that for sure when that comes out. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, big excited for that. Next up on our list, we have Black Butler, a new season coming out this year. The season, I believe, is going to be titled the Public School Arc, set to premiere in April. So yeah, this season is going to adapt this arc from the manga, and I believe it's going to be on Crunchyroll that they're going to be streaming this on. I'm not too sure too much of Black Butler as a whole, or I haven't watched it, or yeah, I know it's a long-going season. I mean, a long-going series. So yeah, but are you guys familiar with the series or watch it or?
I'm not familiar with the series myself, but I've been recommended the series multiple times by multiple different people, and they all said that it's pretty good. So it's something that I'm looking forward to checking out. But of course, I'll be going back to the first season and watching it from the beginning.
Honestly, I think I've been before the boom of anime and manga, or mainly anime, like prior to 2012, 2013, I've been recommended this anime many times. But since after that, like since like Demon Slayer and One Punch Man and all those, My Hero Academia, since those started taking over, I haven't been, that hasn't been brought up to me recently. But I have been, some people have recommended that to me a lot too. So I don't know, I might check it out. Might just check it out because it could be one of those underrated ones that it's just swept under the radar for some weird reason. Those are always the best hidden gems because you could just binge it and enjoy it on your own time. I don't know.
Yeah, like when you say hidden gem, like that's the word that I hear thrown around a lot about this one. Like they always say this one is definitely a hidden gem and an underrated one. That's kind of low key and under the radar. And me myself, like I kind of like stuff like that rather than just kind of what's popular at the time. So it's something on my list for sure.
Yeah. No, that's yeah, it's it kind of reminds me just the amount of for like the amount of people that know about it is there's an anime called Jurmungand. And it's almost like Gangsta, like the anime Gangsta, like the hype sort of generated around that, and the amount of people that kind of know about it today. That's kind of how Black Butler is. I feel like it just kind of got swept under the rug, and a lot of people, they're just not aware. They're not aware of it, and it's definitely something we might have to dive into a little bit further in the future for sure. Oh, your mic is muted, Sai Sensei, Mr. Sai Sensei.
I believe it's. I mean, that's all I have to say for Black Butler.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. Next up, we have Windbreaker.
Windbreaker. Oh, is that? It must be me. Let me see.
Sure.
Whoopsie. Let's see. So Windbreaker is a new. I'll be honest, I don't know much about Windbreaker. I know it's a new anime that's coming out this year, and it's supposed to be pretty good actually. It's gonna be produced by Cloverworks, so it's essentially set to premiere April of 2024. The trailer is absolutely beautiful. Like if you see this trailer, go and check it out. It's I highly recommend it. There wasn't anything that really drew my attention as far as like what things that I don't like on it. So that's a plus. Check it out. I don't know, what do you guys might know a little bit more about that, the series, and I do. What would you do you guys have any opinions on the matter?
This one is completely new to me, but I heard that it's based on a comic that was serialized, I think, back a couple years ago, though, like back in 2021. So okay. I know there's a lot of people that are excited to see an anime adaptation for this one. It's completely new to me, and it kind of piqued my curiosity. So I thought it would be good to inform people that are watching the channel that may be interested in checking that one out.
Yeah, I don't think it has any ties to any known anime. I think it's relatively new to the anime community, so that's definitely good news that there's still, you know, you know, potential out there when it pertains to new anime to watch. So yeah, well, if it's something worth our while, and the anime comes out, we of course definitely will be checking that out like every other anime. But this being on our list means that it's something to keep your eye on. So definitely keep your eye on that. Next up we have Code Geass. Can you believe we're talking about Code Geass again, guys? It's been over what, 20 years, 2 decades before, or maybe a decade, since anything Code Geass related was pushed out, and now we have Code Geass Rose of the Rapture, a movie that it isn't exactly there hasn't been any news pertaining to Lelouch coming back. Of course, we had the author come out and say that Lelouch was officially dead, even though the end really made it difficult for us to tell. So I felt like that was weird. So, was he being sarcastic? I don't know. Could he make a return? Could he be revived? I think these things are possible within the verse of Code Geass. It's set to have a lot of heavy hitters when it pertains to the production of this anime, which I really liked. You got some. You essentially got make from the makers of Inuyasha, Gundam, Gintama, Studio Sunrise. Essentially, basically, they're going to continue animating the series. Or sorry, not the series, the movie, right? And they're essentially bringing on Takehiro, and this is huge news. I don't know if you guys know how huge this is. You got Kazuhiro, essentially he's one of the lead the lead animators for My Hero Academia, if I remember correctly. And so, yeah, like if you specifically the movie Hero Rising, which I believe was the second one. Maybe, is there Hero Rising 2? Maybe it was the first one. But nonetheless, if any My Hero Academia movies, they go crazy, right? So it's definitely something to keep your eye on for this Code Geass movie. As far as any other new Geass, if this is going to be from what I've heard, it's going to be basically continuing off the end of Code Geass. So, and it's going to basically have a new protagonist, Rose, which I'm liking the name already. Like I feel like there's going to be some type of finesse with roses or something. Like I don't know.
I agree. It is a nice. I want to ask this for those who are unfamiliar with Code Geass, because it's a very old series, because it's been a long time since there's been any type of movie or animation made for it. And I believe, isn't it the manga? Wasn't it like a very, very long going series? I feel like I'm getting this confused with something else. Or you know what? No, I'm sorry. I think that might be Detective Conan that I'm getting this confused with. Never mind. I apologize. I don't know why I used to, always get these two confused together. I don't know why. I disregard that.
No.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Brazil, about? I think
Code Geass. If it does have a manga, I've never read the manga, but I have watched the anime. And I think the anime is pretty short if you want to check it out. There's only 2 seasons to the anime, and Code Geass was really, really good. Like it's if you like sort of like a futuristic type setting, and you like sort of like things that have to do with mechas and things like that. It has sort of that Gundam-ish feel.
Yeah.
But the protagonist is really interesting because he's not so much just like your typical, cookie cutter good guy protagonist. He's doing what he believes to be right, but at the same time he's doing it on his own terms, and he's doing it in such a way that there's a lot of strategy going on with it, a lot of behind the scenes manipulation of like different people going on with it. It's really it's complex, but not complex to the point where it's unwatchable or just not enjoyable to watch. Like all the character interactions within Code Geass are really interesting to see go down, and the way it's set up, like you just really want to know, what's going to happen next with this character. What is Lelouch going to do with this character? How is he going to manipulate this character in this way to make them do that type of thing? So definitely check that one out. It's one of my favorite animes for sure.
Yeah, it was the original Sharingan, the Gia.
Yeah.
He's an anti-hero. One of the, kind of one of the most influential animes when it pertains to just anime in general. So that's definitely something that this is something to really applaud in the anime community, that they're really returning with Code Geass, a movie at that, right? And basically, from what I gauge from what Breezy said, is if you're a simple mofo, you're not gonna like this anime. So, all you simpletons, all you simple travelers out there, let's go ahead and skip to the next anime. You're not gonna like this at all. I'm joking, obviously, but yeah, check it out for sure. What else we got next? My Hero Academia, new season 7, I believe. That's where they left off of.
Yep, we're now moving on to season 7 for this.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't watched the last season I watched from My Hero Academia. It was season 5. Apparently the anime's picked up since then. I'm hoping the same happens for Black Clover, but yeah, it's a bit of a tangent out there. But as far as like My Hero Academia, it's supposed to be airing starting May 4th this year. Look forward to that. That was announced, of course, Jump Festa, the 24th Jump Festa of last. Right. Okay. So, and then it basically ended off with it introducing us to a new hero. I believe it's a USA hero by the name of Star and Stripe. Very cliche, right? Very cliche, but as far as she basically has the ability to manipulate reality, which is crazy to me. And I don't know why this is the case, but My Hero Academia always finds a way to nerf these OP ass abilities. Like My Hero just finds a way to make these things happen to characters with OP ass abilities, which is good. I like that aspect of My Hero Academia. It's probably one of the major aspects that I do like for My Hero Academia. And then of course the quirks with the least powerful looking or seeming abilities have the most effect, which is an interesting dynamic right there. So yeah, that's something. Season 7, My Hero Academia. It's going to look fantastic when they do release it. I'm not even sure when the anime stopped for season 6. I want to say it was early last year or late 2022. One of those. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. Yeah.
I think that sounds about right. It was either early last year or on the tip of the year before that.
No, I think it was definitely in I think it came out it started in 2022 and transitioned into 2023. So
yeah.
I don't know if it was like a 2-core. I want to say it was 2 cores, but I could be wrong on that. But it definitely transitions into 2023 though.
Huh.
But I am looking forward to this because I did not know anything about Stars and Stripes until you brought up her powers, and hearing that that's her power, that is interesting because I can't see how that they can possibly nerf a power like that. But apparently, I guess she gets nerfed. So,
how about that? You know, I can't really. I don't want to really spoil it, but
no.
No, I'm not spoiling it.
I can't. Heart. Thank God. There was a needle just coming through my screen right now. I just felt it.
Oh no.
March 25th, 2023 is when the last episode of Core 2 stopped for season 6. Or Core 2 stopped.
Okay, so it was 2 cores. Okay.
Yeah.
They might do the same with season 7. I apologize, bro.
Next up, I wanted to bring up Berserk. So Berserk, Studio Eclipse are giving fans reign over a new Berserk anime project. This time it's going to be a 2D. I said 2D animated adaptation rather than 3D. I know the last time we seen Berserk in any kind of animation, we had the 3D anime. And there's a teaser trailer if anybody wants to check it out that teases the first arc of the series, which was the Black Swordsman arc. We don't have a date yet for when this one is coming, but we do know production on it has started. But I think fans of Berserk should definitely be in for a treat with this one, because last time I think we seen Berserk in 2D animation was like the old 1997 anime.
That was long.
So it's been a minute. So for this one, it's definitely one I think that I'm looking forward to. What about any of you guys?
I heard with this studio working behind it too, it's a studio of passionate people of the story Berserk. So with that being said, when you have a studio of passionate people of a story, like every worker and member, every voice actor, etc., that's the best thing you can have going for you for a story. So I'm very excited. And on top of that, this is a new studio, and I'm almost certain they're taking in aspects of the wrongs and the do's and whatnots, from bigger known studios such as Mappa, and I'm pretty sure they're going to incorporate that strategy into their studio and try to make it, what's the word?
Fitting.
A safe environment for people, so it's not toxic. It's not like I don't want to go. I hate to go to work. It's like, oh man, I'm excited to go to work. They're going to try to give that aspect in the work environment.
Yeah,
I think the opposite of that.
Yeah, I think you meant to say just like a productive environment, basically.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I feel like it's fantastic that they're someone is able to kind of pay homage the right way. This is what I think all Berserk fans, especially long-term Berserk fans, really would appreciate is some solid 2D animation to bring it back to the old school days. We don't need that new rendering or just bring back the this similar style, some nice animation, of course, and then really make it seem like you put you guys put some effort into the production of this, because it's huge. Berserk is probably one of the hugest mangas to ever exist, and it's because the passion shows in the work. Rest in peace to the author. But as far as this Berserk, this is great news for the anime community.
Yeah, definitely excited for this. I think if anybody can make that one work, very passionate fans of the series are definitely going to make it work. So that one, looking forward to it. Next up, I wanted to bring up Dragon Ball Super. So the Dragon Ball Super manga has finally moved past the Cell Max arc, which was the manga adaptation of the previous Dragon Ball superhero movie. With the Go ahead.
I was like, fucking finally. God damn it.
Oh man. Yeah, that
Tough.
was dragging. Yeah.
Here's my thing. I want to give a take on this. I actually am excited about this. I know it was long and dreadful that they had to redo this. However, I am very confident that they will do a 2D animation of this whole entire arc, and I think that would be appreciated for those who didn't even bother touching the movie because it was a CGI. I haven't watched the movie yet, not because it was in CGI, just because I just haven't gotten time, or I just haven't watched it. But I'm pretty sure when they start adapting Dragon Ball Super in anime format, I believe the Moro arc is the next arc that they have to animate. Animate. But yeah, once they start animating that, I believe this will be a part of. I don't think they're just going to skip this arc. I'm pretty sure they're going to add it, into the 2D and make it a 2D animation. So I think that'll be nice. So
Yeah, I agree. Like I actually watched the Dragon Ball the last Dragon Ball movie, and I liked the 3D with what they did with it. I didn't think it was bad, but they had like this really nice 2D animation sequence with like Kid Goku from Dragon Ball, like just OG Dragon Ball in the very beginning of the movie, and just I was just like, man, like why didn't they just do the whole movie like this?
You talking
But
about they pulled them up on the when the Red Ribbon pulled them up on the monitor?
yeah, on for the superhero movie when it showed like Kid Goku with the power pole and he was riding that little sequence there. Yeah, I was like, man, like just looks so good. They could have just did the whole thing like this. But I wasn't exactly I know a lot of people didn't like the 3D. I wasn't mad with it per se, but the 2D definitely would have been nice.
Yeah, I feel like yes, definitely. The way that they did that movie, it was very well executed. In 3D, it wasn't. It kind of reminded me of the video games a little bit. Like I played the Budokai series, Budokai Tenkaichi series. I believe that's how you say that.
Yeah, you're right. I played those two.
Two, 3, the first one was my favorite. I don't know why. It's always been my favorite. But I played all three of them, man. Those are classics. The theme song, oh my gosh. The intro, the start. You can play that for hours and just be charging up before you even start battling.
Especially on PS2, man. You just
my goodness.
Load in and it just keeps spinning up. You're like, oops, I forgot to press start.
Remember back in the day when I was a kid, I used to have my waffle in the toaster and just cooking and then just have that and playing in the background and then I'm charging up in the middle. It was lit, man. It was lit. Man, those are some good times. My cousins put me on. They were every time we would meet up in the summers because I used to live a few states away. We would meet up in the summers and we would play. They would always beat my butt because I was the youngest one. So, I always had to practice. And then one time I just came and I just took everyone one by one. I was like, who's next? No one.
Yeah, man.
I was at the top, man. I'll never forget that. But classic game. That was a quick story. I had to share that.
I think I made sure to max out almost every character. I was at one point, I know, like Budokai 3, and I made sure to like max out like I think I like until I beat everyone with like Krillin, and then I think I did like not Tien, but what's the guy that Tien hangs out with called again?
Chiaotzu, something like that. Chiaotzu.
Yeah. Then I beat everyone's ass with Chiaotzu, level him up, and then I played online, man. Oh my gosh, bro!
What about my dog Hercules? That man always did 0 damage.
Oh man,
yeah, I always hated playing that mission when you have to like fight Cell with him. Oh my goodness, he always died in one punch. Oh man.
3, they had him where he was basically body slamming people and like throwing explosives and shit. That was hilarious.
Oh man, yeah, like I used to do like you, and I used to set up battles where I would use like the weakest. I put up like a team of like the weakest characters just because, like Krillin, and fight somebody like Cell just to challenge myself or just to see just to see how it ends up happening, what ends up going on, and I end up getting like one shot at.
Mm-hmm.
Krillin versus Broly, man. Oh,
Oh,
that's
oh,
hilarious. That's a deep.
oh man.
I might try it. I ran into bro. I don't know how the fuck I ran into Broly. But it wasn't just like one game. I think the creators of the games, they do this intentionally, where you have to run into Broly at some points in times, like secret missions or whatever. But I'd run into him with like Krillin, and then I get my ass beat, and I would not stop until I beat him with Krillin. And I was like, fuck this, man. I'm whooping.
Oh, I remember that. That was Budokai 3. Yeah, like after you beat the main stories, there's
Yeah,
like these secret side missions, and I do remember the Broly one where he was just murking everybody.
yeah, man. Those are times.
I
But
know.
yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off. This is one last thing on this subject. I think aren't they coming out with a fourth one? Or there was a hint of that, right?
oh yeah. There's a brand new one coming out. It's a sequel to Budokai Tenkaichi 3. It's called Dragon Ball Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Um, I think that's the Japanese name for the game. Here in America, we got the Budokai Tenkaichi. I can't even say the word right now. Budokai Tenkai. I'm gonna stop. But anyways, we got those, but they got Sparking 0, 1, 2, 3, or yeah, Sparking 0, 1, 2, 3, and now there's a new one. So basically, the fourth game. But yeah, with that, definitely looking forward to finally getting out of that arc. Dragon Ball is one of those things that's a part of my childhood, so I'm always excited to looking into what's going on with that. Next up, I wanted to bring up solo leveling. So there was solo leveling. We talked about episode 1 and 2 last time. I watched with you episode 3, and then there's also episode 4.
Yes.
And yeah, like in episode 3, we saw like Jin Woo begin to take like his daily training quest a little bit more seriously after he had like his close call with those desert centipedes. We
Mm,
also got to see his interaction when we seen his mom. She was on life support. Apparently, she's diagnosed with some eternal sleep disease.
yeah.
Um, which we see, why it's part of Jinwoo's drive of why he works hard as a hunter. And then we saw him fight those goblins and then those other monsters after he upped his strength stats. And in episode 4, we saw him battle the Lycans, and then there's like this giant snake boss.
Yeah.
After he found out that the color of the different monster titles pretty much tells him how strong like a monster is. And then after he beat that boss, we saw him go back to Earth, helping out like that ragtag group of mercenaries that were trying to take on that. I think it was like a dungeon boss. It kind of reminded me of Godzilla a little bit, but basically just like it's what you expect out of solo leveling. Like people just told me, going into solo leveling, it's not going to be like too narrative focused or monologue or exposition heavy, just like a lot of action, and that's pretty much what it's been so far. A lot of action.
Yeah, I think it's important here because I think solo leveling, a lot of like manhwa, they do things a little bit differently than typical shonen, right? And it's something that I appreciate when it pertains to like the nuance of animated manhwa, is that especially at the beginning of solo leveling, you could really tell that there's even with this amount of action stuff, they're very consistent when it pertains to like the character, and the story behind the character, um and then of course supporting characters as well. And in episode 4 it really showed, just like that one scene. I won't exactly spoil it, but there's that one scene where it's kind of a callback to episode the first few episodes um of a particular scene. And is a bit of a kind of a realization moment for our main protagonist here, Sun Drip Woo. So, as far as like things like that. And then of course, his goal, understanding that his goal, he's not like the typical, like, I'm just gonna, be the weakest ever and then grow the strongest. Although there is that typical shonen aspect within it, to an extent. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's flat out there. Honestly, when I read the manhwa, this was something I really enjoyed. I love the pacing that the anime. It feels like it's maybe like a fraction of a second faster than the manhwa, but of course, that it's probably because it was coming out on a weekly basis. As far as the manhwa goes, but yeah, I feel like for you solo leveling fans, if you are one that really appreciates like like uh battle shonen, that's your bread and butter right there. You love that. This is definitely the anime for you. And if also if you care about the um story writing aspects, it does a phenomenal job with that as well, kind of explaining each bit of development within the characters and the stories in general. Like it does an excellent job. At the end of the series, my only complaints were that I think a few people were too powerful. It just got a little ridiculous for me, but I did end up finishing solo leveling, and it's gonna be a ride for some of you. I don't know exactly how they're gonna be able to, how they're gonna fit all these episodes in. I hope they don't change the pacing because I like the way they're pacing it now. I think in episode 3 we got an excellent idea as to like the amount of animation quality they're willing to put in it, as far as 2D animation goes, and things are only going to get crazier from here on out. I just hope that they keep that 2D animation quality in there, they stay consistent, and they make the best out of it, because it can go far, and I think it'll probably be one of the highest viewing animes of 2024, depending on how many episodes they're going to be planning on doing this year. I don't know if that number's been pushed out already. I'll confirm that later. So for you childs out there that are still trying to figure that part out, we'll get that information for you. Unless Breezy or Since they can provide that. Otherwise, I think that's solid work for the team working on it. A1 Pictures, I believe. Nice job.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed the first 4 episodes of that so far. Like, it's been, like you said, like the pacing is really good. Like it's just been just an enjoyable watch in general.
I am actually caught up, and I can agree with you guys. Best believe I will definitely be reading this once the season is done. Looking it up, it seems like we're going to only have 12 episodes this season. Depending on the success, that will determine whether we get a season 2, but we're more than likely going to get a season 2. So until that happens, I'm definitely going to start reading to catch up from where the story leaves off in the anime. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited because I love how the story is going so far. I actually really enjoyed episode 4.
It is mad hype, mad hype. There are points in the episode where I found myself smiling, and I rarely do that nowadays. Mostly internalize a lot of anime, but there are at least scenes that I was like really excited and laughing out loud, and for certain scenes were absolutely hilarious. When he was running from the, basically had like the discipline punishment, where he basically, instead of trying to fulfill that daily obligation for training, he essentially, spoiler, he essentially got kicked into another world, and had to kind of fulfill his obligation that way. Like the spoiler on that too, on what's actually going on in that case. But things are about to get pretty interesting. If not the end of the season, definitely next season. Yeah, for sure. What else do we got? We have. Oh, did you guys want to? Do we want to talk about the Boruto theories now or next podcast?
I think Boruto, we should save that for next podcast. I think we got some interesting stuff cooking up for that one that would be really good to bring out right before the chapter releases.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. We have some things cooking for you guys. We may even do like a separate podcast video, just Boruto theories. And then of course we'll continue. We may do super like segments and just kind of post those. May even go live with it. If you guys would like to see that in the future, definitely leave a like, comment down below, do your thing, share the video to let us know that you want to see some solid stuff, because we're going to give you the very best. Shoot, Sai, did you want to lead in on the next topic or what?
I'm down to talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So generative AI. This next topic is the question: does its growing intelligence increase web security threats through activities like phishing scams? And this is generative AI.
What did you mean by that? Because it seems like a little bit of a mouthful, but
yeah. Let me simplify it. Basically, right now we're in a time period where AI in general, not just generative AI, but like you have language models such as ChatGPT, which is you can generate lots of language related things. AI.
LLMs, baby.
You have image-based AI, which ChatGPT also uses. I believe DALL-E. It uses images, generates images based off of the prompts that you feed it. You also give it references, say, hey, make a better version of this, X, Y, Z, and that's ChatGPT. It's smart enough and strong enough to do so. So there's that. There's voice AI, audio AI. I forget what it's called, the technical term, but so on and so forth. So that's general AI. The concern here is that with the advancements that we've been seeing recently, you have a lot of people that are able to replicate voices and identities, so on and so forth. And with that, there's a lot of possibilities of people getting caught with identity theft, getting scammed, et cetera, et cetera. And with this technology, people can impersonate, lots of other people with simple, small, short recordings. It doesn't take only but a few recordings for a robot or some type of audio AI system to be able to, use the whole alphabet and, do a lot of crazy stuff with it. So, you seem like this is just the fun side of it. And this is why there's like so many arguments, against it. But like, I've been seeing a lot of SpongeBob diss tracks, I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but like there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on with that. A lot of fake rap songs with artists. The sad thing is people are taking advantage of dead artists and trying to make songs using their voice. Granted, some of them I will admit do sound good, but at the same time, these artists have passed away, and it's disrespectful on the artists' families and whatnot. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of legal stuff going on behind that. And even from simple things as like impersonating loved ones, there's a lot of elderly people out there that are not in touch with the technology nowadays. So there can be, AI, people could have recordings like, friends and I say quote unquote friends of recordings of your voice or whatever, and using that to, impersonate you and call loved ones, etc., fish money out of that way. That's just a way, that's just a negative way someone can use it. But that's just the general concern of that and something to think about. What do you guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you guys think it's a negative impact on generative AI, positive impact, or?
Yeah. So when it pertains to artificial intelligence, I think it's very important that we understand what we're talking about, right? So just to kind of read off your question a little bit. So does AI or generative AIs, did you want to cover just AI or generative AI?
You can do, honestly, I mean, AI in general. AI in general, because like this can all of it,
So
Even though this is a subset, but yeah, all of it.
Does AI or does generative AI pose, you know, does its growth and intelligence increase web security threats through activities like phishing scams? Okay, so from what that seems like to me, and I'm just going to kind of simplify that a little bit. Is there a threat to identity when it pertains to generative AI and AI in general? Um, I'm going to say to an extent, sure, it poses some threat, but there's always been a threat when it pertains to identity. The thing is that we're seeing this is affecting social platforms, right? And with social platforms being our new form of identity and our presence for today's society, that poses um it seemingly poses a threat to our identity for the public, right, in the public eye. So yeah, sure, that it does in that aspect. There has been a lot of deep fakes when it pertains to AI, right? You know, just if you just look at, like, the certain presidents, certain celebrities, right? um, voicing certain things, and other countries that may not exactly. Of course, they have to verify the source, which is a form of, um, anytime there's a potential for for a threat to be posed, right? There has to be some type of validation, and that's all a legal process when it pertains to technology, right? There's always going to be some validation, some to verify that the sources that this is coming from is true, right? And of course, that things can be recovered and of course clarified, right? This is why when it pertains to AI awareness and whether that's deepfakes, there's definitely, I think, going to be more of that, especially in the year 2024, because in the year 2023 it was so prevalent to how it affects us in societal terms. Right now, when it pertains to um, um, generative AI, right? Um, we're talking neural networks, right? This is essentially different APIs interacting with one another and trading and kind of communicating data, right? All within an algorithm, algorithmic um, format of AI, right? So whether that's deep learning um, or there's so many components when diving into the technical aspects of AI that kind of make these algorithms. I'm sorry, make these processes more automated, right? And so essentially, it's like a database with you know it already kind of knows what to do and what to accumulate. And in the public eye, that's very scary because technology is scary in their eyes, right? But I think as technicians like myself, it's our job to kind of educate the public and give them an idea. Yes, these things can be scary, but yeah, this is how we can safeguard against these things, and this is how these are the benefits, and these are the negative things. Because that just talking about something else completely, we could apply that to anything, literally anything else. It's they're professionals in every aspect. Right. So yeah, when it pertains to robotics, right, or nanotech, right, there's always going to be some concern, right? So yeah, for sure. When it pertains to AI, these things are it really just depends on the structure of it, right? It depends on, of course, the computing power as well. These are some components. Google's made efforts to alter the computing power to ensure speed and efficiency are prioritized. And of course, that would assist them and assist development when it pertains to how um, effective it is, and how effective the systems are for specific tasks. That leaves minimal room for minimum margin for error, right? So these are things that, of course, you have to understand. There are regulations not only for the United States but for other countries as well, and they're in continuous development and practice. But it's, I think, the public's job to really understand that, hey, if there is something that I don't understand when it pertains to whether or not AI is aware, right? Um, in certain capacities, or whether it's gained the ability to kind of act on its own. And of course, there's already kind of discussion about AI and it having rights, right? If it does become aware, right? So these things definitely seem scary when you incorporate, I think, another aspect to the world, right? That is fresh. People tend to come up with more um, controversial theories that don't necessarily float well when it pertains to ethics, right? But of course, when it pertains to accountability, that's something that we have to push upon, you know, the leaders of the free world, right? And of course, depending on wherever you're at, of the leaders of your community or your state, your government. This is something that we have to ensure that these are aspects that are considered. Um, you know, ethics, right? And when it pertains to ethics, we have to consider again, like what AI we're talking about, because if we don't communicate things from a technical perspective, this is why it's important for us to educate ourselves, right? At least when it pertains to what we're talking about, right? Because if we don't, it's just not going to exactly, we'll see less progress, I think. Um, but but when it pertains to educating yourself, this is why I think it's very important for children in grade school to understand how these technologies work and how they affect us. Um, the educational system is something that I could talk about all day. Um, but it's just something I thought I'd throw out there. Um, but yeah, that's essentially, does it pose a threat? I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it poses a threat. And what can we do? What can we do to safeguard it? Maybe that's a better thing, to safeguard our identity. Well, I think the world is changing, right? Um, if you just look at, I think when it pertains to security awareness, cyber awareness, right, that a lot of people, they do more harm than good on themselves, right? And it's essentially because they agree to these terms and services that a lot of corporations are putting out there, and a lot of people, frankly, they don't like to read. They don't like to read the fine print. They don't like to read what they sign up for. But when it pertains to, you go to certain jobs, you go to certain, you sign that you will accept the terms of agreement, and there are companies out there that are willing to lawyer up to ensure that these terms of service are within ethical standards. um and so this is something that has been in place as far as this doesn't even just pertain to technology. This is a whole nother conversation, right? Understanding what is an ethical standard for um when it pertains to technology, and then how does that kind of compare to ethical standards for humanity, right? We have to, in us, we have to kind of look at the Constitution, right? And of course, it's subsets, and the legal aspects around that. So it definitely it's important. I think there's not really much way around it. We're just going to see a change in society where um it I don't think AI is really making when it pertains to, well, obviously it's making an impact, right? But like I said, you can argue against the cases, and it's just another conversation that we're going to have as this technology evolves. We have to, be transparent with the people around us, and then understand that there's going to be a shift. There's a shift now, but there's going to be more of a shift as things continue on, and just going to be another aspect of life that we're going to have to basically learn how to work around. Um, and I think the thing here is that we understand is that we believe in the good aspects of humanity, right? Um, and you believe in yourself, right? If you can do those things, I think that we can create real positive change when it pertains to the risk or potential risk, whether that's open source risk, because that's probably more of a concern um, than certain corporations, because corporations are heavily monitored by the government and, um, of course, so many other watchful eyes. And so, you definitely ensuring that these technologies and systems they're used in an ethical sense. Um, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, that was well said. Like before we move on to the next topic, one thing I do want to bring up that I really like that you brought up was that you said that people forget about safeguards, and people also forget that there are two sides of the coin essentially. Like there's this perpetuating fear that um, AI and technology getting smarter, it's going to decrease the public's trust in news and like online, media even further. But then people forget that at the same time, that technology is progressing. Us as we're progressing alongside of that, and we're aware that it's progressing. So of course, there's going to be, a security side that's also going to make sure or do its best, to try to prevent, stuff like that from happening. I know, like some an automated voice message for some type of scam might call my phone, for example, and I know sometimes my phone will go ahead and tell me, look, this is a scam ahead of time before I even know that it's a scam. Or even my computer, it can tell, the security in my computer can sometimes even tell when something's a scam, or if it's trying to fish for information, or if something's fake. So there's two sides to the coin, and we just need to you know trust humanity a bit more.
Absolutely. I feel like it's probably best to ask yourself, and I think we don't ask ourselves this often. Um, am I being left behind? Right? Am I being left behind when it pertains to um how the world around me is changing and how society is changing? And if you can't really dive into those, and then really try to challenge those questions, I think that your chances of evolving along with society is very low, right? So yeah, ask the bigger questions as things change. Ask those tough questions, and I think people ultimately they become scared to ask those questions, or fatigued to ask those questions. But we have to adapt. We have to change the way we do things as a society, as a people, as a nation, as a global community, right? We have to understand, okay, so what is the end result? What is the direction? What is the direction that we want to go? You know, um, and what are the possible directions? And vary the good and the bad. Just don't very the bad, right? Because I think if you just consider the bad and you're not able to come out with any good, I challenge yourself to come out with some good things. Really put in the challenge, put in the work. And this is like, again, this just doesn't pertain to technology. Make this pertain to everything in your world, in your life. And I think as you, if this poses a challenge for you, I challenge you to do that with any other aspect of your life, and see where that takes you in life. Um, I feel like that might really um change the game for a lot of people. Yeah. What's next?
Yeah, I think we're segmenting next into our movies and TV section.
Fantastic. Um so yeah. That's right. So Tron 3. Right. So if you guys are familiar with the Tron universe, right? It's essentially Tron Legacy was the most recent Tron that, a lot of millennials, Gen Z, they're the ones. That's the Tron that they've seen. They didn't see the original Tron back in 1987, I think, which was basically a sequel. Um, sorry, that was the original. So Tron Legacy was the sequel of that Tron, where we see basically um, Kevin Lynn, I believe the name is. Essentially, he was able to kind of beam himself into this world called the Grid, and it's essentially a programmed world where it's a cyber world that is able to kind of evolve, right? And of course, in Tron Legacy, for some of you guys that um, aren't exactly aware, there is something that happens where there is a change to that world. And so I'm interested to find out for Tron 3 where that might take us, if that'll take us back into the grid, or and the effects of the grid. Um, it's for those of you that don't know, of course it's a another sci-fi movie. Forgetting the name of the creator at the moment, but it's one of my favorites actually. And I feel terrible saying it's one of my favorites and not exactly remembering the name of the author, but um, it was a very impactful movie for when it came out in the 80s, and of course when it came out in the 20 teens, I believe, or yeah, the 20 teens. And so I give it a shot. It's making headway and development. I think when Tron 3 comes out, I hope it's just as good as the quality of Dune, and I think it will be. I absolutely believe in the year 2024 it'll make a huge impact, especially in this day and age. And you know it's it's already basically began filming in January of 2024. I believe it began filming officially. So um something to definitely look forward to. I'm excited for it. Um, if I have the opportunity to cover that on the Zone FanFic channel, I'm going to try to do that because it was what when I was a teenager. It's something that really kind of it changed my outlook. Um, and it made me go back to the original Tron and really get into like some sci-fi movies, some more sci-fi movies to that extent. And it was it it's a whole universe, right? There's so much more that I could possibly tell you today. I'd be talking all day when it pertains to the Tron universe, but um, yeah, if you like technology, if you like programming, if you like cyberspace or cyber domains, replicants, uh, check out Tron, bro. Check out Travelers. Check out Tron. Next up, we have Dune 2. So it's supposed to be airing or starting filming, I believe. I don't remember if it's dropping. I don't think it's dropping in March 2024, but I believe it's going to start filming in 2024 if I remember correctly. What do you guys? Do you guys recall at all?
It releases on March 1st, 2024.
That's right. Okay, that's right. So yeah, that is something absolutely look forward to. I that's for Dune 2. Dune 2, I actually went back and I watched the original. As soon as I saw the first one drop, that's another one that I have to go back and watch because I don't know what it was about the first one. It didn't I did not want to watch that. I think it was some of the it wasn't the quality. It was really like the how gross it was. Sorry, Dune 1 or Dune, the original Dune was when I first tried to watch it, I didn't finish it. Um it was pretty gross. But I look back on it now and I'm like, wow, that was actually really well directed. Reminds me of like the original Blade Runner. But I think no one's really touching Blade Runner. It's like the Odyssey, right? But yeah, we'll essentially see like Paul's rise to power amongst the freemen, right? And his eventual rebellion against Paradisia, the Paradisia Empire, right? So um, that'll be something. I think I don't know how much they're gonna put. Like, is it gonna be like the same quality as Dune 1, which wouldn't be bad, because it was a fantastic movie. I think they did a pretty good job at making it, you know bringing it into the 20th century, right? But as far as Dune 2 goes, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. Check out Dune 1 if you haven't seen it. And yeah. Yeah, that's what do you guys, you have any thoughts on those guys?
Um, it's one I'm definitely I would say I'm interested in checking out.
Mhm.
But I agree with you on the first one. The first one was hard for me to sit through as well. So I don't know if that will be sort of the direction, but it's a great movie. I will say that. Don't let that deter you from watching that one. For you guys that haven't seen that one yet, but yeah, I'm wondering if this one will take a similar sort of direction as that one, or if it'll be a little bit different. But it's definitely one that's on my radar, which is why I wanted to bring that one up.
Mind if I ask? Because both of you guys said the same thing. It's hard to sit through. Like what? And I'm assuming this is the 2021 version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it like nasty disturbing, or was it just like disturbing, like annoying? What type of disturbing? Like
I would say just more so not nasty as in like nasty like gross, just like some things were in bad taste. I don't know how to describe it.
like odd,
Maybe
or I just got to see for myself.
maybe
That's interesting.
maybe maybe Zone might do a better idea at that one.
So I was actually talking about the one that came out in like the 80s, which was a little off putting, especially if you watch it when you're like a teenager.
Okay, and that's what I thought. Yeah.
You're just not a movie person, but I was, I was committed to finishing that, but it was just so gross to me. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe, but when it pertains,
I am too. So if it's my bad, I
when,
didn't say y'all.
nah, you're good. When it comes to like the one that came out in the 80s, it's I don't want to spoil it, but there are some scenes that are pretty dang gross. Um, and you're like, what is going on here? But if you can get over that, if you could stomach it, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. And it really gives you some idea as to like, the amount of range that some of these directors had just when filming it and their perspective, when actually adapting it into a live action. So hats off to the original for sure, and then of course, Dune 1, that the readaptation, absolutely beautiful movie with Zendaya, and I'm forgetting the
Chamblet.
yeah.
Let me ask this: compare which one was the better adaptation, the 2021 or the 80s version?
Well, I don't know. That's difficult to say. As far if you want like so visually, like visually pleasing, definitely the one that came out in the 2000s. But from like a narrative perspective, you could really tell like the amount of work and effort they kind of put, and from like a writer's perspective, um, they can really tell the amount of effort and work they put into each scene. And then the movie in general, like there are many hours, and then of course the visual effects, what they had to use for each of those effects. They didn't have the amount of resources that we have in the 2000, even early 2000s, right? So just the appreciation is just on overload for what they were able to accomplish. Like I'm a huge, that made me even more of a fan for the Dune franchise. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. For like going back to what you were asking before, I guess the best way I can describe it, I couldn't think of how to describe it before, but like think of like if you're for the old one, the original one, if you're the type of person that doesn't like to see stuff like if somebody has like big boiling like bumps on their face or something like that, and somebody's just like taking and popping them and stuff, and it's making like a nasty mess all over the place. Don't watch it. You wouldn't. Well, not don't watch it. It's a good movie, but you wouldn't find it very pleasant. Yeah, like you wouldn't find it very pleasant to watch. Like there's a specific scene that I can think of from that one that comes to mind. That why I said
Nasty
that.
as that does sound, I don't know, man. That's actually making me. No, it's actually making me want to watch it. I want to watch both the old one and the new one, and
So,
that's just I don't know. It's just I don't know.
if you can make it through an episode of Dr. Pimple Popper, you can make it through this one. But definitely don't. Make sure you're eating like if you can't stomach, make sure you eating like a hour or two prior. And then definitely don't eat no oatmeal or anything soupy or slimy. No nachos, right? No meat, red meat. Make sure you're good. Yeah, very simple chips. You
I got a
know,
detox before.
yeah, man.
Man,
Prepare yourself. Make sure you do some sit-ups as well. Make sure your stomach is nice and tired.
some nice yoga.
Need
Get
some
my
push-ups.
body
Yeah,
nice
finish
and
off
moves.
absolutely yoga all the way.
Quick meditation. Get my mind right.
Get your
Mind
mind.
and body.
Hop in that sauna.
Oh man, that's funny.
Absolutely. Next up we have Rebel Moon to April 2024. Am I looking forward to this one? I don't know. Really, it looks like it feels and looks like a combination of every sci-fi movie you've ever watched. Did I like the first one? It was all right. Was it cliche? It's very cliche for me. There wasn't much that I really enjoyed. Other than like the ending scene where the robot was still there, and we forgot all about this robot, which was basically a warrior of the past, that fought for the king, but basically somehow, his wiring, his programming, it got altered, and there are replicas or sorry, there are replicants in this movie, or clones, that basically kind of traverse between the king, who is now, I believe he's dead or just kind of floating in limbo somewhere. I don't know if there's any other sources for the Rebel Moon series that they've adapted. I believe there is, but I don't exactly recall anything outside of what I've seen on for the Rebel Moon, the first Rebel Moon series on Netflix. Um, What you guys think about the movie?
Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was just okay. Like you said, what you said could pretty much sum up my thoughts. For the most part, I
Mm,
didn't think the movie was bad itself. I thought just like it just draws a lot to a fault from so many other sci-fi movies that it just doesn't kind of seem like it's own thing sometimes. Like I get a feeling from like a lot of Star Wars or like what's the name of that old Disney movie that didn't do so well? Like I get like John Carter vibes from it, like all
mm,
kinds of different things mixed together into one movie.
int-
But I didn't think that it was a bad movie though. It's definitely worth watching. It's just it's not something that you haven't seen before, if I could sum it up.
very well said. I think that's pretty accurate. Um, it wasn't anything that stuck out that was unique to a sci-fi flick like that. But I don't know. It was interesting, I guess. What do we got? What do we got next?
Next, we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So this is the sequel to War of the Planet of the Apes. This one's coming out in May 2024. From my understanding, in this movie, there's kind of a reverse role swap where it takes place 300 years after the previous movie. So like Caesar from the old movie, like he's like long gone. This is way in the future,
Mhm.
and there's a role swap where basically the apes, they got things rolling, they got civilization going, and all this and that, and humans have regressed like a lot. Like I don't even think they may not even have like their own language or like civilization or anything like that in the movie. I'm not sure, but I do know the premise is just kind of the apes are on top and humans have devolved basically.
Interesting.
So I'm pretty interested in seeing where they go with it. The first three movies were pretty crazy, so I kind of expect mayhem for this one too.
Yeah. We'll see Godzilla.
That would be hilarious. But I
and,
do love. I don't want to say. I didn't mean to cut you off. What? Go ahead.
No,
no,
you're good.
yeah. I was talking, and hopefully we'll see like a cross-verse, monster-verse type of thing. That'd be dope.
I would
I
love to
was,
see something like that. I'm not gonna lie.
I was just gonna say I do love that it is 300 years into the future because with that it does seem like you don't need to watch the previous ones to watch this one. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure because I think I might be a couple of movies behind. Um, I don't even remember if there is one before the one that I watched, or if it was just a readaptation of one of the previous ones that was made in that like the 80s or 90s or whatever. But I think I'm two movies behind. But yeah, I don't know. That 300 years in the future that's really stuck out to me. So I'm looking forward to that part.
Yeah, the one that you watched it, I think you're right. You're probably just two movies behind because this would be the fourth movie. The other two that came before this were sequels to the first, and the first was a readaptation of like a really really old movie. So you've
Okay.
probably seen the first one.
Dope. Dope. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, next up we got Furiosa the TV series. So this is a TV series that's going to be continuing on after Mad Max Fury Road, and we're just going to be following Furiosa and seeing what happens with her on her adventures of pretty much just what happens after that movie. I don't know if either of you two seen Mad Max, but that one's one of my favorites. It's got like a lot of action in it, but I also like the characters themselves, and then just seeing the relationship between the characters when they finally met up. I thought that Max was pretty good in that one. I like Furiosa's character. Even like I forgot what they were called in that movie, The little I'm just gonna call him like the little henchman. But the guy, I think his name was Nuts. Like even he was an interesting character in that one. So I'm just curious to see where they go with this one.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something to look forward to. Like I I grew up watching Mad Max, so like as far as where this goes, this is something to absolutely look forward to. I actually got a tattoo inspired Mad Max inspired tattoo, which was something that I was like, I've got to get something, and that's kind of where I kind of the direction I wanted to get. I was like, you know what, I do love Mad Max. Let me go ahead and do that, and I think it came out great. It's not the one that I got. It actually needs some touch ups, but no, like yeah, it's for sure. Like oh my gosh, it just Mad Max is legendary. Um, really kind of defined, just post, um, or an apocalyptic, um, I guess, universe, right, or post-apocalyptic event, right? So I mean, it's definitely something to keep your eye on. This series, is it a series? It's a movie, right? Like a short film?
This is going to be a short series, I believe.
A short series. Okay. Okay, that was something I wasn't sure about. Yeah, that's interesting.
Next up, I wanted to bring up A Quiet Place is also getting a new movie. So this one is called A Quiet Place Day One. So this is a prequel to the original Quiet Place. So I guess this one is going to have like a little bit of an explanation of like how things got the way that they were. I know like in the first movie, we're just kind of thrown in the middle of things, and we just kind of watch what's going on from there. Those of you who haven't watched the first movie, um, this also like Mad Max, it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. But in this one, that world is inhabited by like these blind monsters. Um, and the entire movie is completely quiet. Like there's no music, there's no talking. Just the only thing that you hear is just the audio from their footsteps, and you just watch the interactions between the characters because they can't make a sound because the world that's inhabited by these monsters, like even though these monsters are blind, their hearing is just insane. Like if you say one word, like they come and snatch you up with the quickness. So this is this one is going to be an intense watch, definitely.
It's called The Quiet Place Day One, correct?
Yeah, A Quiet Place Day One.
That's interesting. It reminds me of that movie. I want to say, wasn't it called Black Box or something, or the box of the Bird Box? You remember it was a big hit on Netflix. It was a movie where people started killing themselves when they looked at whatever they weren't supposed to quote unquote look at.
Mm-hmm.
They stepped outside. What was the name of that movie? I can't remember.
Oh, sorry. Say the last part again. What was it?
Yeah, it's called Bird Box. You're right.
Bird Box. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
that's what it kind of reminds me of from what you were saying. How you were describing A Quiet Place. I've heard about The Quiet Place, but I've never, I haven't seen it yet. That definitely sounds interesting.
And this one has some pretty good and great actors in it, right? That are supposed to be in it.
This one, I'm not sure who's starring in this one, but I mean the first two movies did pretty good at the box office, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have some heavy hitters start up for the prequel.
Interesting.
If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be like what's her name? Lupita. I'm probably gonna butcher her name. Lupita Nyong. Probably that. I think that's how you pronounce that.
She's I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but yeah, she's starring in this one, I believe. She's like Kenyan, I think.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. You got Jennifer Woodward. You know, you've got Emily Blunt, right? You've got Joseph Quinn. And these are some solid actors here. It's going to be something. I think it's going to be pretty good. I mean, I've got high hopes for this.
Nice. I'm excited for that too. It does sound interesting. So next up, we have Argyle, which is coming out in February 2024. I believe it's the second. I'm not too sure exactly what the if you guys can correct. Yeah, it is the second, February 22nd. So yeah, I believe this is a spy thriller, and it's going to be directed by someone named Matthew Vaughn. I'm not too familiar with any of his films, but this movie, however, revolves around a character named Ellie Conway. She's an author who's somewhat introverted. And she's an author of spy novels. And basically, to sum it up, these novels that she created start coming to real life. And, you know, these events, she starts to realize that the world that she used to know is not the same world that, you know, she's been diving into. Is more or less the worlds that she has written. So that actually does sound interesting. Not too sure if this is a prequel or a start of a new series or whatever. I'm not too sure about that. Are you guys familiar with this?
I think it's its own standalone thing, so it would be a start.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but like A Quiet Place, this one also has a lineup. I think of heavy hitters. I think Henry Cavill is going to be in this movie. They even got John Cena in this movie.
What?
Yeah, I think they have Dua Lipa too, right?
Yeah, they do. They have her, Samuel Jackson.
Oh no!
So
you're gonna go crazy.
It's gonna go.
Henry Cavill, right? He's like, isn't he like The Witcher and Superman? Henry Cavill.
Yeah, he's Superman.
Yeah, man. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I hope we get at least one motherfucker in that movie. It's a comedy as well, so.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
That'll make the whole movie for me. One motherfucker. That's all I need.
But yeah, moving on. Next up, we have Deadpool 3, which is going to be released in July 2024 this year. I believe July 26th. So this movie, I'm not too sure about the synopsis. Not too much has been revealed, but I think the biggest reveal that everyone I think is excited about is the return of Wolverine. So that's something to really look forward to.
Yeah, apparently they're moving into like the multiverse. You got like different variants. Like they're talking Keanu Reeves. What's that Harry Potter? The guy that what's the guy that plays Harry Potter's name?
Yes, Daniel Radcliffe.
He's in this?
Daniel Radcliffe. Apparently, these are just spoilers, right? So these are these are all
that's interesting.
Right, these are rumors. There's been a lot of quote spoilers, right, suggesting that it's going to be like Daniel Radcliffe playing one of the variants, Keanu Reeves playing another variant. Of course, you got you got Ryan Reynolds in there. This man's a billionaire. I think he's producing this. Like he's producing it himself, which is interesting. So it's going to be, and of course you got the original Wolverine, coming back, and so this is going to be like phenomenal. And the fact that they're working, Wolverine into the metaverse and Deadpool in the metaverse. Yeah, these are two characters that can basically, like, they got rid of King and they're like, you know what, we got Deadpool 3. Don't worry about it. So I'm absolutely excited. I'm absolutely excited for this movie. I think it's going to be probably almost as good as the Doctor Strange movies. I can only imagine. What they're going to do with this. But Wolverine was actually one of my first favorite villains. Sorry, not villains, superheroes. Wow, oh my gosh. A lot of people don't actually know one thing about Wolverine in this movie. Like he's wearing like a yellow suit, and I totally forgot about this because I would watch like the Marvel, like I would read like the Marvel comics, and I would also watch like the Marvel, I think it's Marvel versus DC, cartoons on I think it's on like Cartoon Network.
Isn't it the yellow suit that like iconic? The yellow
Absolutely.
one? Yeah. Okay.
He runs out of he wears a yellow suit because he wants people to target him. Like that's some boss shit right there. Right. He wants to get hit. He
Like,
wants to
I'm him. I'm him. I love that. I love that energy. That just reeks of Wolverine's energy. Hugh Jackman. Oh my god.
Hugh Jackman. That's the only Wolverine that could ever be. Like, I mean, I'm interested to see what if Keanu Reeves will in fact be playing Wolverine. I mean, I feel like that might be interesting because
that would be. That sounds. But Daniel Radcliffe, I don't know why for some reason that just stood out to me. Because compared to those other two actors, he's he's short, so I don't know. He just
you know it's Hollywood. They'll give him.
Yeah, they're gonna buff him up.
He's at least gonna be like 6 feet. 6'5" in the movie. They'll get him. They'll get him right.
Oh man, do you have any idea what character he's playing? By the way.
Wolverine.
Daniel Radcliffe is Wolverine? Oh no.
Short. That'll be hilarious because he's the last one that comes out of nowhere. It's just like, hey, I'm here.
Oh no.
Behind everybody. I don't know. I just thought that would be funny.
That's what I was saying. Like they're working their way into like apparently this is going to be like their introduction into the multiverse, right? This movie. And that's where we'll see like different variants, and all the actors I just listed are essentially playing variants of Wolverine. Aside from Ryan Reynolds, of course, he's Deadpool. But yeah, man, this is going to be phenomenal stuff.
Big excited.
Yeah. Branching off into our next segment, we have the gaming segment. I've recently been hearing a lot of controversy about the game Power World. So anybody that's not familiar with this one, Power World is an open world survival game in which you're able to tame different monsters. And the monsters in the game, they kind of resemble Pokemon. It's a survival game that you battle and you gun down other players in. It sort of reminds me of Fortnite in a way. It's been accused of plagiarizing different designs from Nintendo's Pokemon because of some of the designs of the monsters in the game. And people have even been accusing the game of using generative AI tools to copy and slightly alter 3D models and digital assets from existing Nintendo games. But, I mean, so far, from what I understand, there's no actual proof of this, just different allegations. But because of the game's controversy, it's been booming lately, making headlines. It's got a huge growing player count because of this. A lot of people have been probing Nintendo to like do something about it. I guess they want them to do a lawsuit of some sort. Me myself, I mean they could, but I don't really see Nintendo suing because there's no from my understanding, there doesn't seem to be like an actual trademark or copyright issue, since none of the creatures share names with Pokemon that from the Pokemon game. And then like the gameplay itself, you're not catching and battling like the monsters directly against each other. It's more so of just like having them alongside you while you're gunning down other players, similar to Fortnite. So like the gameplay is so different from Pokemon. It's so removed from that in a way. It might just be considered, legally, like just like if a lawsuit were to be brought up, like its own original work, rather than derivative from an existing work. But I don't know. Who knows? People bring up lawsuits about all kinds of stuff, and they end up winning it. And then even beyond that, I noticed like a lot of parents and stuff have been having like issues with the game because I mean, from their perspective, they're just seeing like Pokemon with guns, and you know, people are playing Pokemon, and then their kids are running around with characters with guns, shooting at the animals and stuff, and it's just a big mess. So I don't know if any of you guys have any thoughts about that one.
That's interesting. I wonder if Pokemon is trying to take a stab at like Fortnite. You said this is going to be like on the Nintendo.
Oh no, Nintendo isn't the publisher of this one. Actually, it's actually published by some independent company. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but people have been probing Nintendo to take action because they're like, "Oh, look, this creature in this game, Power World, it kind of resembles Pikachu from Pokemon, and you know that type of stuff."
I'll be honest. I just want to give a take. I really strongly believe that the people who are finding fault with the game more than likely haven't even played it, because there's those who have played it are giving it like a lot of good praises. I've heard nothing but good things about the game itself in terms of gameplay. The only negative things I've heard is how much alike it is towards, to that of Pokemon and stuff like that, and how it's related to Nintendo like games, but it's on an independent platform. I don't know if we had a conversation recently if one of you guys mentioned this, but wasn't the budget like really low budget? Like
Oh yeah,
10K budget, because with a budget like that and to be able to devise that many models and to basically to create a game of this scope, like even though there's no direct proof of there being generative AI being used for the models, they definitely use that, because there's no way you can whip up models that quick with such a low budget and with high quality and be able to do these things, animations, and have such nice gameplay, enjoyable gameplay. And the argument being made is that the gameplay for Power Worlds is even better than that of your Pokemon games, because Pokemon's been around for years and years, and it's one of those sad cases where people always say the original Pokemon Red or Pokemon Gold or whatever is the best, whatever. But it's been years, and it's been like it's kind of the same copying and paste. It's just different Pokemon or whatever. I guess I'm not into Pokemon games, whatever. I could be wrong, but that's just from when I was reading up into this. That's my whole like general view of that.
So I used
oh
to
yeah.
I used to love Pokemon. Sometimes I'll still, whip out, whip out a Nintendo game and pop in Pokemon. But as far as like the AI, we talked about this earlier with deepfakes and the legal aspects of things. I think a lot of businesses are they're going to adapt, right? And as businesses adapt, right, we're going to see lawsuits like this. Right, we're going to see situations where they feel like things are going to be some ethics and whether that's through trademark or copyright are going to be challenged to an extreme extent. But I think when it pertains to like generative AI, I think it provides a unique scenario where these creations are essentially, not the original, and that's the only really claim that a lot of these games could possibly claim. Unless you straight out call them, a Pokemon, in which I'm unclear as to whether or not they have. But I think that creates some wiggle room for new development and new creativity. From an individual perspective or small business perspective, I think that it's going to be kind of difficult it's going to basically challenge the dynamic and the balance between what is considered you know um original content and what is not considered that. And of course those cases being fought every day now, especially this last year, 2023, 2022, and of course especially 2023, and even now today, where we'll see more cases like this, and we'll see the real effects of how whether or not that's certain people being deep faked, right? Of course, there you might have a little bit more of a standing ground to kind of fight that legal case, but when it pertains to completely new designs and aspects, I think it'll definitely challenge the way we kind of understand art, animation, as a whole, um, and it'll kind of open up the door for new creators, um, when they see the success of platforms like this becoming public. Um, new creators, new developers, and this new domain that we're now seeing in present day.
I'm gonna be honest. I
Transparent.
don't. Oh, my bad. I'm gonna let you finish. My bad. My bad.
Oh no, that was the last bit.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to say too, like, it's beautiful that this is happening because right now we're in that era in gaming where a lot of people, well, not people, companies, especially like, such as that of like Activision, who makes games like Call of Duty. These games are out here mainly for cash grab, schemes. They have what is it called? Season passes, stuff like that. Content drops, a lot of microtransactions. Gun drops. Things like that, and it's recycled content, and it's just the same things over and over again. Just a new game, and they just it's nothing creative that they're doing with it, and they're losing touch of their original old aspect that they used to have, the original Call of Duty-esque that it used to have. And that with this, the slight wiggle, with the how Power World is kind of getting away with making it slightly different, we can start seeing and we kind of are seeing this, like with the games like X Defiant and stuff like that. I feel like it's going to start off just like how Call of Duty started off years ago, and it's going to slowly build onto itself. But because it's going to start off as a game like that, it can easily expand and build anything on top of it without any issues, especially since the creator of it is he actually comes from he used to work for Call of Duty, so I don't think it's too terrible that it would be similar. But aside from that, I think it's we're going to start seeing this more common games, but be done with better passion and better more for quality's sakes as opposed for money cash grab. But then again, you're going to see a lot of third-party, very sloppily put together games as well because of the technology out there that's can allow. So
Yeah, I can see how a lot of artists might feel threatened. Aspiring artists might feel threatened that their fields and art, whether it's art or directing, a lot of processes will be automated. So we're just they're gonna have to learn to adapt, and of course things will change. And I think it's important for us to consider when it pertains to art, is that what are we defining as right? What are we defining as original, right? And what was the work ethic that was put into that creative piece, right? That I think a lot of people they're trying to kind of date back and look back at the the nine the nine the sorry the early 2000s and the 1990s, the 80s, right? To kind of correlate how work ethic was defined at that point in time, but it's taken a new shine these last few decades. Especially, it's been changing every 5 to 10 years. And this is not just in America. This is all over. This is in Japan, Korea, right? How they're able to come up with these pieces, and a lot of people, a lot of companies have flat out and said, yeah, we use AI technologies. I don't think it's a bad thing that they're basically automating the workload. This is a business practice, which this is an official business practice, which means it's legal, right? And the way I think it's important for us to understand what that means, and exactly, you know, whether or not we like that aspect of what they're doing and how they're doing it. Now, I think it's also important on the other side of the coin for us to understand, you know, how transparent the companies are being. Toei, right, is flat out came out and said, yeah, we use AI rendering, right, for our animation, right, for you know, some of our manga panel, or sorry, not manga, yeah, for the animation. And a lot of people, you know, a lot of people were angry. A lot of, especially One Piece fans, were especially disappointed and skeptical about, you know, whether or not this was true. It's flat out true. Toei has came out and said that. Other studios have came out and said, yeah, we use it. Now it's important for us to understand like how these technologies are being used and encourage, you know, these supposed, you know, fans of these studios, right? We have to ask them, like, are they truly fans, right? Do they really understand, or do they just want to falsely believe what they've been told, you know, that things are still the same, that these companies, these businesses are not going to adapt, right? They A lot of fans, they talk about caring about these companies, you know, like Mappa, who's also came out and said they use AI for certain processes. Now, I think, you know, there are different types of AI. We have to understand, you know, they're not just pressing a button and making animation. That's not how these technologies are being used. But there's a lot of processes that are being spun up through a neural network. Of course, these are automated systems, AI, right? That is what AI is, through an algorithmic format, um, and these processes are, they're making the job easier because it's an official business practice that I think a lot of people just have to learn to adapt to, because these companies, they're able to pay less and still maintain or do more. So is that something that we should encourage if we really like animation, or do we just like the work ethic that we believe that they put in, right? They could be putting in the same amount of work just with less people. So it's something that I think we have to kind of question, um, you know, question ourselves, and of course question our community, the anime community, or, you know, gaming communities, you know, to kind of understand, like, okay, well, you know, what is the what is the direction of this company? Is this company being transparent? I think those are things that we should consider, um, you know, when it pertains to things like that, to certain fictional pieces of media. So yeah. When Oh, I'm sorry. And then next up, I next up we have essentially Tekken 8. Right. So I talked about Tekken. Yeah, I am Tekken God. Right. If I hop on there, I'm whooping that ass. So if you guys want some, when that comes out, I'm sorry, it's already out. It's been released. My apologies. So if you guys would like to see that on the Zone Voyager channel, um, let us know down below, because that may be something we'll be doing very shortly, along with the Street Fighter 6 Let's Plays, and of course the Elden Ring and Star Citizen Let's Plays, as we wait for Final Fantasy 16 to come out on the PC. I know we're thinking about getting other consoles. If you guys want to see us play some console exclusives, let us know down below, and that way we know that you guys actually want to see it. Otherwise, we just won't do it. But yeah, Tekken. Oh my gosh, Tekken 8. Are you guys familiar with the Tekken series? I feel like we talked about it at one point in time.
Yeah, definitely. I played I think I started with Tekken 3, and then I played all of them from 3 to pretty much the newest one that just came out yet that just came out now. I don't own the new one myself yet. Um but I played the demo for it, and it's really fun. I got Tekken 7 still. So if you want to hop on that against me, I'm down for Tekken 8, Tekken 7. I got Street Fighter 6 as well. So
I
if
just go
the
down to watch that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't play,
yeah
but like I would love to see you guys duke it out.
yeah, like
That'd
if you would like to duke it out, or if it's something like the viewers would like to see, I'm down for it.
Oh my gosh. So if you guys want to see that on Twitch, let us know. That might be something we're doing anyways, because I would love to have some competition. I would love to get back in my prime when it pertains to the Tekken 8. Oh my gosh. I just remember playing on PS. I played it on PS2 initially. And then I played it on PS3. And oh my gosh. I got it was one of those games that really kind of reminded me of how good some fighting games can be. Second to like Soul Calibur. Oh, I guess it'd be like Tekken, then Soul Calibur. Street Fighter's at the top, of course. But yeah.
So let's move on to the last topic in the gaming segment. So we have Microsoft, the big dog. Apparently, 3 months ago, they acquired Activision Blizzard for approximately $68.7 billion. And so it's been 3 months since then, and recently they've apparently laid off 1,900 of its employees in its gaming divisions, including Activision Blizzard and Xbox. And this represents roughly 8.6% of its total gaming workforce. So they claim that the layoffs are part of Microsoft's plans to establish a sustainable cost structure and streamline overlapping areas post acquisition.
Put that in the terms, please.
Yeah, let me rephrase that.
No. I'm bullshitting.
But yeah, I'm honestly not too sure what that means for the company itself. Because I from what I'm taking from it, I'm thinking they're possibly like doing a rebrand, I guess, like with how they're going to like delegate games, at least in the Activision department, because it seems like that's the main department that they're targeting. And Xbox, I guess. I'm not too sure what Xbox has to do with this or why they targeted that department as well.
Yeah, from my interpretation of what you just said, by streamlining, it sounds like they're trying to do like a reboot of what they're doing. I've heard that some of the projects after the acquisition of Activision have actually been canceled, and they've been we don't know what those projects are exactly, but apparently they've been redirected to do new projects. So it just sounds like a total rebranding in general, and they're going in a different direction for the studio.
Let me ask this: prior to their acquisition that took place 3 months ago, I'm assuming Sony was in ownership, right?
Of Activision?
Yeah.
I think either Sony was in ownership of Activision or they were an independent studio.
Because I asked that because I know with Call of Duty, and I keep bringing up Call of Duty, but that was my main game I used to play. It used to be for years. Microsoft would always get the downloadable content, first before, like a month before PlayStation or PSN players. And I was a PlayStation player, and I just always hated that. And then soon it flipped for a period of time. So we may, if we are correct, and Sony was an acquisition prior to this, we may see a shift in the flip again, and we might start seeing many Activision-based games favor Microsoft Xbox products opposed to and PC products as opposed to Sony products like PlayStation 5. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't think it'll work very well for them in the end because like at this point, more people, especially again referencing Call of Duty, they have a preference in Sony and PlayStation as opposed to Microsoft. But of course, the efforts in doing this is to have everyone shift back over to Xbox related products. So that's why I found it weird that Xbox was targeted in the layoff. But I mean, I get it if it's for the sake of rebrand. Then yeah, it makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about it because it just sounds it just sounds like ambiguous, kind of company talk. So I don't know exactly like what direction they're going with this. It could just be more so to help Xbox, like you were kind of implying, but I don't know.
That's interesting. I honestly, I couldn't say myself. But you said there was 18% of people that were laid off from Activision. Did I catch that right?
Yeah, it was 19,000 employees approximately.
That is a lot of people. It sounds like they're cut cost and maybe definitely probably moving in a new direction for sure. I think that much is kind of pretty
true. No, it was actually 1,900, and the percentage. Oh my god, the percentage.
I said 19,000. My bad. That's way over.
No, you're good. You're good, bro. You're good.
That's way. I meant 1,900.
I mean, I did the same mistake when I first introduced that number as well. It's funny, but yeah, no, you're good, bro. You're good.
1,900 is still a lot of people.
Because it's at 8.6% of that. I think the whole working force is, I believe, roughly 2,200. So that's out of that percentage. That's a good amount of the working force. That's almost 10% of it. So yeah, that's a good chunk.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, hopefully they. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have they will land in a good area. They're Activision employees.
Oh, yeah, going back to what we said earlier with the AI, people actually moving on. They could take this as a learning thing for themselves as well, and hopefully rebrand. They can form their own studio with that 1,900 because that's a large lump sum of talent right there. But I mean, who knows? Like it's up to them for one person to have a voice, reach out to others, and But we'll see.
A random thought, crossed my mind. A lot of companies, I feel like they could say that they laid off, if they, just basically remove someone from a company and put them into the company. I mean, that could all be within, contractual agreements. And so the fact that they said that they laid off 1,900 people, that's a lot of people, and to just kind of, either they found a way to kind of automate some processes. Of course, that much is pretty standard for business practice. But for them to just kind of go nowhere, it kind of rings that something is up with that, something further. So I think that's definitely something to keep our eye on. Maybe more, some more potential projects, from Microsoft. And I think you mentioned maybe, you mentioned like a new console. You guys mentioned like a new console, possibly the next console. And so that maybe they'll be working on an upcoming game, which they could kind of not necessarily have that title of Activision Blizzard on there, but maybe something that with a little bit more of a modern tone to it, as far as project wise goes. But that's hella dope. I mean, not dope for them, but potentially dope for us. Yeah, and I don't know if there are any other topics you guys want to talk about. I know we've been going at this for a little over 2 hours now. Of course, there's that. Taylor Swift is being attacked on Twitter. I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I find
this is hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's sad but funny at the same time because clearly she's upset about it. But like, like, oh my goodness, I've never seen a fan base this dedicated to supporting their,
For
their
sure.
idol. Like, oh, they dox the absolute hell out of this man. Like, I feel so bad. I actually feel bad for him. Like, they have his whole full name, his address, his name, like his whole birth. They have a story about this man documented on Twitter. Like, you guys can go, feel free to check it out. But yeah, they have this whole man's history out there. Like, it's crazy. But like, he's just having fun. He was just having fun. I mean, I saw nothing wrong. He was having fun.
It's really
cheeks,
bad.
generated cheeks. That.
I feel like it's creative expression. Like, I feel like you can label it as like creative expression because the photos aren't real. Like, regardless of like how they're perceived, they're not real, right? The guy, they pretty much publicly came out when they were coming out as it was pretty much the majority of people understood they were fake images. And so for people to come out there and fight, fight against this, personally, I feel like it kind of doesn't represent, a positive direction. And it's really restrictive as far as rights goes. And again, sure, we're talking about a person here, but come on, man, like, these photos aren't real. That's the entire picture. That should be the bottom line. Essentially, basically, Twitter came out with a statement. Twitter has decided to deal with Taylor Swift's deepfake, right, problem on their platform by blocking all searches for Taylor Swift to stop people from highlighting it. Absolutely stupid, pointless, dumb, right? The fact that Twitter felt like they had to come out and do this because people were, creating deepfakes. They've been creating deepfakes forever, but every celebrity doesn't do this. This is more of a cult following, right?
I agree. I think I don't understand why she gets the privilege to have her voice. You know what I mean? Just because she's upset about it, they have to do something about it. It just makes no sense. Even if it was hush money involved, any type of compensation, it just, I don't know. Because there's been so many other cases and just crazy stuff that's been going on Twitter that has not been dealt with, let alone had some news articles on it and been mainstreamed on the news. So I don't know. This is just I don't know, man.
I think it takes the fun out of artistic out of art.
Expression. Yeah,
because we could have slapped that on our thumbnail, man. That would have been the thumbnail of the whole segment. So then look, next time we're all docs. We gotta say this is a wrap for Zone.
You might be on to something, but I wish you would have told me earlier because I definitely would have did it.
Hey man, that was a topic listed on here. I promise you, I would have brought it up. Like that could have been the name.
No, man, I'd be hurt.
Oh no, man, that's too much. That's too much.
Oh man,
Ice Spice, right?
What's that?
Yeah, Ice Spice. Yeah,
Ice Spice. She has that famous the swipe thing. He could have done an AI across between that. Oh man, that's too much.
Yeah,
if AI could animate that.
Appreciate you guys for joining in.
It's been your host, Sai Sensei, signing out.
All right.
No, I was joking, but no, we could close it out. No, but yeah, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. For those of you that have basically showed up during, and then of course after, those of you that are going to be seeing this after, thanks for coming by. For stopping by on this episode of the Sing Zone podcast. Expect more episodes like this. Some of our criticisms we got last time were like we're too serious, or it's more of a serious podcast. We don't know how to have fun, and I think there's something else too. Maybe I'll bring it up next podcast. But yeah, if there's any criticisms you guys have, drop in the comment section. It's just make sure to blame Breezy because it's all Breezy's fault. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but no. Of course, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Sensei. I approved this message by Zone, by the way. So just letting you guys know.
Yeah,
Oh, breezy.
yeah.
No, I'm messing.
Expect more podcasts like this, and then more discussions as well. Join the Discord. If you guys want to see that matchup on Tekken with Breezy, make sure to tune into the Twitch, which we will be dropping. It'll either be the link of this video or in the it'll be dropped a little later today. So expect that. Look forward to that. And we will see you guys next time, travelers. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.